Kurt Cobain is one of the most influential musicians. He was certainly not a guitar virtuoso by any means, but he still had the chops to get the job done. He inspired and continues to inspire more and more individuals to pick up a guitar as time goes on. Kurt was born with a killer voice that was unique, but he also had many qualities that led to his success. These are 5 of the qualities that made Kurt Cobain a successful musician. Number 1. Kurt was disciplined to rehearse. How would you ever expect to perform great at live shows without first having great rehearsals? Like most things, repetition is the key to proficiency. In the early days of Nirvana, Kurt and Chris would rehearse whenever possible, and they would run through the songs multiple times each time they got together to play. Most people equate practice with rehearsals, but they are not one and the same. You practice on your own time. That's where you learn your parts and get them down. Rehearsal is where you perform with the band just as if it were a live show with a live audience, so you can really synchronize with the band and work on movement and stage presence. Producer Butch Vig has said that in the months leading up to the recording of Nevermind, the band was rehearsing every day, and it showed in how tight they were as a band. For sure, Kurt was disciplined to rehearse. Number 2. Kurt surrounded himself with the right band. It's very hard to put together a band. On one hand, it is favorable to recruit skilled musicians with good experience. But on the other hand, the piece that sometimes goes overlooked is that you have to find someone that you can easily hang out with and communicate with. You want to surround yourself with players who have similar ambition and goals. Early on, Nirvana went through a revolving door of drummers. First with Aaron Burkhardt, Dale Crover, Dave Foster, Chad Channing, or Dan Peters. I think Chad Channing was a good drummer and he suited the style of the Bleach songs well. However, from the interviews that I have seen with Chad, it seems he carried some uncertainty about the styling of the band and he really wanted to contribute more in the songwriting. In September of 1990, Kurt recruited Dave Grohl to the band after they were introduced by Buzz Osborne of the Melvins. Chris has said, "We knew in 2 minutes that he was the right drummer." Kurt was really impressed with Dave's drumming and compared him to John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. And as much of a great songwriter Kurt was, I feel that Dave Grohl on drums took them up a few notches, although Dave did keep some of Chad's patterns, notably for In Bloom, and the limited cymbal work on Polly was actually Chad, as that was from the Smart Sessions take they did in Madison, Wisconsin. Whether it was recruiting a world-class drummer like Dave Grohl or firing second guitarist Jason Everman, who they did not vibe with, Kurt surrounded himself with the right band. Number 3. It was all about the song. Kurt put the song above all. He had excellent skill for picking out hooks and harmonies. He started with the music, whether it be a riff or just a chord progression. The riffs were not as complex as, say, Soundgarden or Pearl Jam, but he wrote great songs regardless. And he wasn't that particular about the lyrics, often changing them at different shows and sometimes writing them hours before he recorded. He was a true artist and could make a great song from seemingly random poetry. And not only was the quality good, he also had the quantity. I don't know exactly how many he wrote, but over the years, I would think it has to be up there, perhaps 80, 100 songs or more that we know of. It is a real testament when I see people saying on social media that Incesticide is their favorite Nirvana album. Yep, Incesticide, which is a compilation album of mostly B-sides and a couple of new songs and some covers. Don't get me wrong, I really love the songs Dive, Aneurysm, Big Long Now, and Sliver, and I think that they are as good as any. But as a whole, I don't think it's nearly as good as the other 3 albums. To Kurt, it was all about the songs. Number 4. Kurt had the vision for success. I'm probably going to sound a little woo-woo with this one, but like it or not, every single invention, book, song, or idea occurs within your own mind first. And if you can hold that vision, have confidence in yourself, and take inspired actions, you can project that vision into your reality. Sure, Kurt did have some connections, like knowing the members of the Melvins, which led him to recording with Jack and Dino, who knew Jonathan Poneman of Sub Pop. So yeah, okay, he had help. He also had the praises of Sonic Youth, which helped him get signed to the major label DGC, a subsidiary of Geffen. But it's clear to me that Kurt absolutely wanted to be in a famous rock band and he thought that it was possible. Sometimes I see fans that think he never really wanted to be famous, and that's probably because of his obvious discontent with many aspects of the whole thing once he finally achieved it. And I'm not saying that he regretted it, but he certainly did not like being in the media all the time, which often painted him in a negative light. I do think that he loved writing and recording music, but it's clear to me from as early as 1992 that he no longer wanted to constantly tour. Number 5. Kurt was a great performer under pressure. Kurt became very good at performing under pressure, specifically when things were not going so well in other aspects of his life, when he was battling drug addiction or experiencing health issues. On August 30th, 1992, when Nirvana was scheduled to play at the Reading Music Festival in the UK, rumors were going around at this time that the band was breaking up due to Kurt's health and addictions and that they would not perform. Kurt later dismissed these rumors, but regardless, they had not played a show in nearly 2 months, and even Dave Grohl has said that the rehearsals the day before did not go well. But Kurt, like the great performer that he was able to get it together and lead his band to a great performance, which fans are still enjoying 30 years later. Also, before the 1993 Unplugged in New York show, recorded for MTV, those who were in attendance for the rehearsals, like guitar tech Ernie Bailey, has said that the band did not sound sharp and they didn't think that there was going to be a good performance at all. But somehow, like the true performer that Kurt is, he once again found a way to overcome adversity and perform at a high level when it really mattered. Much like Michael Jordan, the famed basketball player who was money whenever the game was on the line or in the important games like playoffs or championship games. Surely Kurt was a great performer under pressure.